So this orchard here is actually orchard that was planted the day before I was born.
This apple orchard has been in Steve Tennis's family since 1971. Raised in these orchards, Steve has seen many seasons come and go. This year, winter is hanging around a little longer than usual.
Once it stops snowing and spring comes here to the orchard, then these little buds that you'll see right here with the green tissue just starting to come out will expand and turn into 5 apple blossoms per bud.
I got 4 place owners.
Steve and his wife Bridget are raising 5 kids on the farm, along with an annual harvest of apples, peaches, pumpkins, blueberries, sweet cherries, and sweet corn.
As a farmer, you're constantly thinking of all the work we have to do. And this needs to be done, that needs to be done next.
On this April morning, not much work can be done.
Advance to go. Collect $200.
Family traditions and values are timeless here, and stories of old are never old.
Every time my birthday would roll around, I'd get to hear the story about how my father and his mother-in-law, my grandma, went out and planted thousands of apple trees the day before I was born. They came in that night, tired, took a shower, and my mother, who had been waiting patiently, said, "It's time to go to the hospital." And that orchard was then named after me. It's called Steve's Orchard to this day. And my wife and I decided we wanted to do the similar thing with each of our children. Every year we had a child planting a new orchard or blueberry patch that would be named after them. My daughter Brianna's organic apple orchard that we planted in 2004. What I love most about our family farm is that we're able to have our children involved. Whether it's driving customers on the golf cart out to the blueberry patch, or whether it's running the cash register out front in the farm market, or whether it's giving out samples of donuts in our farm bakery. We're able to continuing our parenting and passing on the tradition and values that we hold so dear to our children as we work together in our family business. The mission here at our family farm at the Country Mill is to glorify God by facilitating family fun on the farm and feeding families.
Steve and Bridget's love for our country has deep roots. Steve's father served in the military, and Bridget's grandfather, father, and 2 brothers also served. So how fitting that they would meet in the ROTC. Steve would later serve in the Marine Corps and Bridget in the Army.
We look back at the time that we served in the military, and we really cherish that because it gave us an opportunity to travel to other countries and to see how important it is to defend the freedoms that we have here at our hometown, and how important it is to make sure those are preserved for our children.
I used to tell my parents that I was going to marry a farmer when I was growing up. I grew up in Nebraska, and well, you know, life happens, and Steve and I were dating, and we were in the military, and he proposed, and I thought, well, marrying a Marine must be the second best thing, you know. A couple years later, he asked if you would want to move back to the family farm, and I couldn't believe that my dreams were realized, that we could raise kids on the farm together.
Families from all over Michigan flock to Country Mill Farm every year to create their own family memories.
We start in August pretty much with blueberry picking, and then into pick your own peaches. That turns into pick your own apples.
And it's really incredible to watch the kids' first experience on the farm and seeing where their food comes from and how it grows, and to be able to touch and feel and grab it from the trees.
Steve and Bridget believe that serving their community is a priority.
We started an event here at the Country Mill called Pick a Peck for People. On one afternoon, we open up the entire orchard free of charge for people to come in and pick bags full of apples straight off the tree and give them directly to the food bank that comes in that day with their large semi-truck. Literally picked over 10,000 pounds of apples in a 4-hour period.
We have an abundance here, and we are stewards, and we need to be stewards of the farm. And what we have, we need to make sure that we give to people in need and that everyone has access to it.
In 2008, the Michigan Migrant Resource Council honored Steve and Bridget with the Cooperator of the Year Award for building one of the best worker housing facilities in all of Michigan.
A new applicant had come and wanted to see where they were going to live. And Steve walked them through the house, and they just were so amazed, and they asked us again, where are we going to live? And Steve said, right here. And he just started weeping. And it was just so humbling to us, but this is the kind of house that we would want to live in, you know.
Every week during the harvest season for the past 7 years, Country Mill has taken part in the farmers market in the nearby city of East Lansing, Michigan. Selling organic fruit at the market was a growing part of their business. One of the ways Steve and Bridget reach out to the communities they serve is through their Facebook page. Here they share their events and thoughts about life on the farm.
Last year, a question came up on Country Mill's Facebook page asking Country Mill about a religious belief that they held.
In response, Steve expressed his belief in biblical marriage.
The city of East Lansing saw that post, and they contacted Steve right away, and they told Country Mill that they were concerned about that belief. They questioned him about it, and they asked that Country Mill decide voluntarily to stop coming to the East Lansing Farmers Market.
We were surprised because for over 7 years, we've been serving all the customers with no complaints, no issues, no protests.
Then in January, East Lansing did not invite Country Mill to come back to the East Lansing Farmers Market. So Country Mill went ahead and filed an application with the market, and they immediately got a letter back saying that they were prohibited from coming to the market for this year.
All of a sudden I felt like we couldn't even believe what we wanted to believe. We had to be quiet.
East Lansing sent back a second letter telling Steve that he could not come to the market because of his Facebook post and attaching a copy of that Facebook post. They said that it violated their beliefs.
Never before would I ever have thought that the faith that we have here in our family, in our home, at our farm, would prohibit us from being allowed to participate in the community.
Alliance Defending Freedom is representing Country Mill Farm to protect their First Amendment freedoms and ensure that the government can't single out people of faith for discrimination simply because of what they say or think.
It's really about every small business owner, every individual who participates in a city, in their public events, in their marketplace. East Lansing is setting a standard that you cannot participate in our public venues and you cannot participate in our marketplace. And we can hurt your livelihood if you don't ascribe to a belief that we agree with.
As for Steve and his family, they say tolerance is a two-way street. Their belief in marriage has been held by all societies and cultures for millennia. Faith is foundational to their family and has been a great service to their community.
And one of the main reasons we wanted to move back here to a family farm was to give our kids the opportunity for a hometown community where they could be raised in an environment that allowed us to teach them our values and what's important to us.